Yeah, my name is Alex. I run a YouTube and Instagram Love Sugar show. So I just wanted to thank you for taking your time and doing this interview with me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
No problem. So besides like the Zoom things, how's everything else going for you?
Yes, yeah, okay. Um, yeah, same old really. Yeah, things are going okay. Guess the band is getting a little bit of attention at the moment, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. I am curious though, where did the band name come from?
The band name,
Hmm.
well, we started the band originally in the sort of 94, 95, and I got the band name from a Kung Fu movie. 70s kung fu movie I Monkey. That's where the yeah, so that's where the band name comes from.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of it before, but I don't think I've actually seen it quite yet. So I definitely need to check it out. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, there's a 70s one and then there's like an 80s one, but we got it from the 70s movie.
Okay, that's really cool. I like that a lot. That's actually one thing that intrigued me about the band was the band name.
Yeah, and also there's a little reference there to this song Iron Man by Black Sabbath. And obviously, what's
Mhm.
more, Monkeys like a more aggressive version, if you know what I
Oh,
mean. It's like it's almost like a bit of a nod to Iron Man, Iron Monkey. You know, that's like a primitive version. If you
yeah,
see,
for sure. So I want to ask you, how do you feel now that the album is finished?
relief probably more than anything else because we didn't think it was going to happen. It's taken us. I mean, we started writing songs for this album in 2018. And some of it, 2018 to 2019, we wrote this album, and it's taken us that long to actually get in the studio and put it down because we just had constant constant problems from every aspect that you can think of, whether it be health related or personal issues,
Hmm.
financial issue, just everything. I mean, we as well as a lockdowns, in the in 2020, and yeah, so we actually didn't think we was going to finish this record, but we persevered and managed to get it out. So yeah, it's kind of been a more a relief more than anything else, just to
Well,
actually get everything out.
yeah, for sure. How long did it kind of take from like start to the very end until it was finished?
Well, as I say, we started writing those songs. I think we got all the tracks for the album, by mid 2019,
Hmm.
uh, and it was only the other year when we actually got round to getting it done and sorting that out with the label. So that's been a long time, really. And we had a lineup change during that time as well. So yeah, it took a lot longer than we thought. I mean, originally it was supposed to come out. We had intentions to put that out in 2019, really, off the back of the album that came out at the end of 2017, but it didn't work
Hmm.
out like that. That's life.
Yeah, for sure. What was kind of the creative process for like the album name and the album art?
Uh, well, the album art, asked, I approached a really close friend of the band from the start,
Hmm.
um, and she's got a little art page on Instagram, and she kind of just like does like kind of crazy doodles. And I just said, it'd be nice, if you do the cover. And she said, what do you want? And I just gave her a rough idea. I just said I wanted a skull smoking a cigarette. In fact, I don't even think I asked her for that. I just said I wanted like a kind of punk rock looking skull that's cross-eyed, and she knocked that together really quickly. And then I just kind of like tweaked it a little bit to make it look a bit more like a graphic. And yeah, it was done really quickly. I mean, the art that we've always used for the band, which is people call the monkey gram, that was done really quickly as well. That took about 5 minutes to do. So, we've got that kind of, sometimes things when you do things really quickly and impulsively, they come out great. And the album title, that's just been floating around in my head for a few years, really. I'm not quite sure where that came from. Yeah, it just kind of like came into my head, and I was like, yeah, it's. Few people have asked me what that actually means, but it's the spleen part is a shortening of a phrase to vent spleen, which means to like express anger, and the goad is to goad somebody out. You don't know to provoke or poke, prod, irritate. So that's the idea behind the album title.
Oh, that's really cool. Like you said, it's the things that don't take very long, just kind of work out and make everything just come together, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I
So,
think
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, it doesn't matter. I was just going to say the Germans refer to it as Rausch, I think, but like that doesn't matter. Yeah, okay.
And what was the biggest challenge you faced with the creation of this album? I know you did mention a little bit about 2020 with the lockdown that kind of impacted it a little bit too.
Well, it was everything that you can think of. Like, yeah, from like financial. I mean, it's not cheap being in a band in this country, and trying to find places to rehearse, and when the overheads of kind of keeping a band together. So there was some financial problems with us, and injuries, and like personal, traumas, and all kinds of fucked up stuff. It was a really between that 2018 and when we actually put it down, there was a lot of like fucked up stuff happened, really, and that kind of really slowed us down to the point where we didn't really think it was going to get done. But I kind of saw it as a mission that needed to be completed at all costs, and I think that comes across a little bit in the sound of the record as well. I think it's a better sounding record for that, some of that kind of frustration and kind of comes across in the music a little bit. I think it makes it a more wilder record, really.
Yeah, for sure. So, what would you say was the hardest song that you had to write?
I don't think. Well, I don't think any of the songs are particularly hard to write. I mean, it's kind of like that style comes really naturally. I mean, I write the tunes and stuff. It comes really naturally. I've always got an excess of material.
Hmm.
And like with lyrics, I kind of like I'm always jotting things down, and I really enjoy the lyric writing process. The only thing I don't really like, I play guitar and I do the vocals. I don't really like doing the vocals, and I was kind of like made myself do that because we lost our original singer, passed away in the 90s. So when we reformed the band, we didn't really want to get anybody else from outside in the band to do that, and I'm not a singer. So I kind of had to force myself into that position. So that's not the thing that that's the thing that I don't particularly like doing the actual singing part, but I can do it. And it seems to fit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for sharing that with me. And I guess like when you guys were creating the album, what's kind of each band member's role in getting it together and creating the song? Where do you guys start?
Usually starts with me. I've got a little, I've got set up at home guitar, and I start writing riffs and getting like sections of songs together, and I record them on my phone. And then I'll take those ideas with me to the rehearsal room with the drummer, and we work on on the rhythms, on the beats. Review that, kind of like tweak it, make it into a song, and then I'll look through my I'm always writing the lyrics down and like stuff that that will fit that can be used as lyrics, and I'll kind of fit them in somewhere. And then when I actually I don't actually I mean, the actual vocals, the actual singing the lyrics is like a real last minute thing. I mean, I don't generally do that until we're actually in the recording the album. So usually the first time I've heard the vocals properly is when I'm actually recording them for the record, which is a bit of an unusual way to do things, but kind of adds a bit of chaos and a bit of looseness to it, which fits, I think.
Yeah,
Work, you
I
know.
mean, if it works, it works. So no one says
Yeah,
it has to be in a certain order.
yeah. We've got a slightly chaotic process, with some of the things that we do. You know, that's always been there with the band, really. So
Hmm. So, in a few words, how would you describe this album?
I'll describe it as 90s style sludge core or sludge metal. So, which is really a mixture of hardcore punk and doom metal. And we kind of wanted to make sure that it was like true to true to that genre of music and like what what those bands were doing in the 90s, the early 90s. We wanted that kind of 90s sound more than and I just add a few little tweaks to it. So like not all the songs sound the same, but they're all recognizably us. So we bring a few of our different influences out a little bit more in each song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I might be a little biased, but I think the 90s were one of the best eras, 80s and 90s. So I really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we're obviously influenced by 70s rock bands as well. There's some like the 70s and 80s and 90s all kind of mixed in there. So
Yeah,
the Sabbath thing's quite important to us, and like bands like Black Flag from the 80s. I guess those two bands, you'd stick those two bands together and kind of come up with something similar to what we're doing.
yeah, for sure. So on this album, do you have a favorite song?
I like personally. I think my personal favorite song is the second to last song on the because there's 9 tracks on the CD and 8 tracks on the vinyl. It's second to last song on if you listen to the CD, and that's a song called "The Gurges," which has got quite a strong kind of Black Flag influence in it. I think it's a really intense song. I think probably the song that most people like will be the first one off the album, which is the first single we dropped.
Hmm.
That's kind of quite a simple, it's a very kind of quite accessible song. It's that one seems to have been quite popular, but we've only released 2 singles so far, so we'll see how that goes. But I mean, the whole album sounds like an Iron Monkey album.
Hmm. So from the album itself, is there like any sort of theme that the band decided to go with?
Uh, well, what for the tracks? Yeah,
For the tracks or the album, whichever one.
well, I mean, the album's going to be an Iron Monkey album. We sound slightly different on every album, really. The first album's the slowest album. The second album kind of kicks it up a gear a bit. The last album we did was quite a fast album. This one's kind of a mixture of all three. It's a mixture of all 3 records. And as far as the lyrical content, I usually have kind of 2 ideas, 2 themes, and I kind of like, sometimes 2 or 3 themes, and I kind of like crash them together into one idea. So the lyrics are quite abstract, but there are there's usually 2 ideas like within a theme of each, song lyrically.
Yeah, that's kind of cool that you take kind of like all the albums and kind of combine it into one. So fans are, I guess, going to be able to see that as well in the album, I'm assuming, just kind of the combination of the previous albums.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily premeditated. It just kind of came out like that, and I think it does sound like there's elements of all three records in there, which I think is think people like it. Well, if they don't like it, it doesn't really matter. But
Hmm. So is there anything that you would have changed about the album?
no, I don't think so. Um, no, you know, it is what it is, and it's out there, you know, and it will be out there. So I'm, no, I wouldn't change anything about it. I'm just relieved that we actually managed to get it out. You know, everything after that's a bonus. You know, but it's
Hmm.
there, it exists now, so which is good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Do you think that because it did take a little bit longer for the album, that that kind of helped you feel really good about it once it was finished?
Yeah, well, it felt like you know, it was a burden really trying to get this record together and get it out. So that you know, it's a relief in that way. And in another sense, I think that kind of time and that frustration of us, you know, like being delayed for one reason or another, and you know, all the problems we had, I think that kind of like comes across in the sound. I think that's made a better record than if we'd have done it in 2019. I think it
Hmm.
makes it more, I think you can kind of hear it, makes it a more intense record.
Yeah, for sure. So I have to ask, what's next for the band?
Well, we kind of discussing like playing some live shows. We've got a member in Canada at the moment, so
Hmm.
we've kind of work out the logistics of that. It's something we're talking about at the moment. As far as the band, I mean, we've got no intention to stop here, so you know, I've already started writing new material, so we'll see where that goes, and hopefully it won't be quite a huge gap in between this record and the next one.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's more to come then. That's exciting.
Yeah, I yeah, we've got no intention of stopping here, so yeah,
Well,
watch
that's
this.
so I do have one last question for you. Is there any message that you would like to give your fans or anything you'd like to tell people who are interested in listening to the new album?
Uh, no, I don't, not particularly. I mean, it's out there, you know, like go check it out. Um, buy
Yeah,
it if you buy it. You know, I'm not. I don't ask anybody for anything. You know, I don't ask. You know, I don't really pay attention to like you know, the like fans or like I don't pander to anybody. You know, we do it for ourselves really. And if anybody else likes it, you know, that I guess that's a bonus. But we don't really pay too much attention to those kind of things. Um, we just do that. You know, we do it for ourselves.
yeah,
And
we do appreciate you sharing it with us.
thank you.
Yeah, and for anyone who does want to check out the album, it does come out on April the 5th as well. So I do want to thank you again for taking your time for doing this interview with me.
No problem. Thank you for the questions.
No problem. Have a good day or afternoon, I guess.
Yeah, afternoon. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah.